Dad perfect events. The night I found out I wasn't invited to my own daughter's rehearsal dinner, I was standing in my kitchen in Portland, Oregon, folding the check I'd just written for $58,000. The final payment for Linda's dream wedding. ID already covered everything: the venue, the catering, the photographer, the flowers, the band, everything Shed circled in those glossy bridal magazines Shed been collecting since she was 12. My name is Victor Palmer. I'm 64 years old, retired high school teacher, and I thought I was doing what any good father would do. My late wife Carol would have loved to see this day. I was doing it for both of us. The kitchen where I stood was the same one Carol and I had remodeled together 20 years ago. White cabinets Shed picked out, the granite countertops Wed saved months to afford. Even now, 3 years after losing her to cancer, I could still hear her voice echoing through this room where Wed planned our lives together. I called Linda to confirm the payment went through, my fingers still smudged with ink from signing the check. "Hey, sweetheart," I said when she picked up. "Just letting you know the Riverside Gardens payment cleared. You're all set for Saturday." There was a pause. In the background, I could hear music playing, laughter, the clink of glasses. It sounded like a party. "Oh, Dad, thanks." Her voice sounded distant, distracted. "That's great. So what time do you want me there Friday?" I asked, settling into the kitchen chair where I'd eaten breakfast every morning for the past 2 decades. For the rehearsal dinner, I was thinking I could come early, help set up if you need anything. Another pause, longer this time. I could hear muffled voices like someone had put their hand over the phone, then a different voice cut in. Nathan Brooks, my soon-to-be son-in-law. His voice was smooth, practiced, like had rehearsed this conversation. "Hey, Victor, actually the rehearsal dinner is just for the wedding party and immediate family. You know, keeping it intimate." I felt my grip tighten on the phone. I switched it to my other ear, buying myself a moment to process what EG just heard. Immediate family. I'm her father, Nathan. I'm immediate family. Right, he said, and I could hear that patient tone people use when they think you're not understanding something obvious, but it's really just the people in the ceremony. Linda's bridesmaids, my groomsmen, our parents who are walking us down the aisle. You get it? Our parents who are walking us down the aisle. The words hit me like a cold slap, but I was walking her down the aisle. I was the one giving her away. It was a conversation Wed had months ago when the planning started. Carol and I had talked about this moment when Linda was just a little girl, how proud we'd both be. "I'm walking Linda down the aisle," I said quietly, my voice barely above a whisper. "Actually," Nathan said, and I could hear Linda whispering something urgently in the background. "We decided my dad and her Aunt Helen will do it together. You know, since Carol isn't here, it feels more balanced that way." The words hit me like a fist to the chest. Aunt Helen, Carol's sister who lived in Seattle and saw Linda maybe twice a year at Christmas and birthdays. Helen, who had never changed a diaper, never helped with homework, never sat through a single parent-teacher conference. She was walking my daughter down the aisle. Not me. The kitchen suddenly felt too small. I stared at the family photos on the refrigerator, Linda's kindergarten graduation, her high school prom, her college commencement. In every single one, I was there, but apparently not for this. "Linda," I said, my throat feeling tight. "Is that true?" She came back on the line, her voice small and defensive. "Dad, it's just Nathan's family is really traditional, and they thought it would be nice if I didn't hear the rest." The phone felt heavy in my hand, like it weighed 100 pounds. Outside the kitchen window, I could see the driveway where Id taught Linda to ride her bike, where Carol and I had waved goodbye on her first day of kindergarten, where Id helped her load up her car for college 12 years ago, promising I'd always be there for her. "Always, Dad," Linda said, and her voice seemed to be coming from very far away. "Are you still there?" "Yeah," I managed to say. "I'm here, you understand, right? It's not personal. This is our day, and we want it to be perfect. Our day, the day I'd been saving for since she was born. The day I'd liquidated part of my retirement account to pay for. The day I'd been planning in my head since Carol and I first held our baby daughter in the hospital and talked about all the milestones we'd celebrate together."
"Sure," I said, because what else could I say?
"I understand. Great. So we'll see you Saturday at the ceremony. Two-haired sharp, love you, Dad." The line went dead before I could respond. I stood there in my kitchen, holding a silent phone, surrounded by memories of the life Carol and I had built. The checkbook was still open on the counter. My reading glasses beside it, $58,000. The number stared back at me like an accusation. It wasn't the biggest check I'd written for Linda, not even close. There was the $15,000 for the down payment on her condo when she and Nathan first moved in together 2 years ago. Shed called crying about how expensive Portland real estate had gotten, how they'd never be able to afford a place without help. I'd transferred the money that same day. Then there was the $8,000 quietly moved from my savings when their credit cards maxed out during the holidays. Nathan's startup business wasn't generating income yet, Linda explained, and they'd gotten a little carried away with Christmas shopping. It was just temporary, Shed promised. The $12,000 for Nathan's business venture, some kind of app development company that was going to revolutionize social media marketing. That one had stung because I'd had to cash in some of Carol's life insurance money to cover it, but Linda had been so excited, so sure this was their big break. ID kept telling myself it was what fathers do. You help, you support, you make sure your child has opportunities you didn't have. Carol and I had worked 2 jobs each to put Linda through college debt-free. Wed always said we'd rather sacrifice ourselves than see her struggle. But this, being replaced by Aunt Helen, being excluded from the rehearsal dinner like I was some embarrassing relative who might say the wrong thing, this felt different. This felt like I was being written out of my own daughter's life. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying the conversation over and over, trying to make sense of it. I sat in Carol's old reading chair, the one with the needlepoint cushion Shed made during her chemotherapy treatments, and stared at our wedding photo on the mantle. We'd gotten married at City Hall with 2 witnesses and $20 between us. No catering, no band, no Riverside Gardens, just love and a promise to take care of each other. And Wed kept that promise through everything. Through my teaching salary that never seemed to stretch far enough. Through Carol's night shifts as a nurse when Linda was little. Through the miscarriage we had before Linda when we weren't sure we'd ever be parents. Through my mother's long illness when we had to choose between paying for her care and taking that vacation we'd been saving for. Through Linda's college years when we ate ramen noodles so she could have everything she needed. Through Carol's cancer when I held her hand through every chemo session and told her we'd beat this thing together. But somewhere along the way, Eid made a different kind of promise to Linda, an unspoken one, that I would always say yes, always write the check, always be the safety net, and Shed learned to count on it the way you count on gravity. The morning after the phone call, I woke up in that chair at dawn. For years, getting up early had been Carol's habit, not mine. She used to say the quiet before the world wakes up is when you hear yourself think clearly. ID never understood that until I found myself at my kitchen table at 6:15 a.m., staring at bank statements spread across the surface. I'd been tracking my finances carefully since Carol passed 3 years ago. When you're living on a teacher's pension and Social Security, you have to watch every dollar. But as I looked at the numbers now, really looked at them for the first time, I saw something I'd been too guilty or too distracted to notice before. In the 3 years since Linda met Nathan, it'd given them $97,000. I sat back in my chair and stared at that number. $97,000. I pulled out a calculator and did the math again, thinking I'd made a mistake. But there it was, black and white, more than I'd earned in 2 full years of teaching. It was the down payment on the house Carol and I had saved 5 years to afford back in 1985. It was Linda's entire college fund, the one Wed started when she was born, carefully depositing $50 every month for 18 years. My hands shook as I picked up my phone. There were 3 text messages from Linda, all sent after midnight. Dad, you're not mad, right? Nathan's family is just really particular about these things. Love you. I know this is hard, but it's just one day. You'll understand when you see how beautiful everything is. Can't wait for you to see me walk down the aisle, going to be perfect. Walk down the aisle with Aunt Helen and Roy Brooks while I sat in a pew like any other guest, watching the wedding I'd paid for but apparently wasn't important enough to participate in. That's when something inside me snapped. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but quietly, like an old rope that's been fraying for years and finally reaches its last thread. I opened my laptop and logged into my online banking. There was the joint checking account I'd set up years ago for emergencies. The one Linda had access to for when she really needed help. The balance should have been around $20,000. Instead, it showed $3,247. I clicked on the transaction history with a growing sense of dread. $5,100 withdrawal 2 weeks ago. Emergency car repair. $1,200 withdrawal 10 days ago. Unexpected medical bill. $2,100 withdrawal just 5 days ago. Surprise tax payment. All while I was writing checks for wedding costs. All while they were planning my replacement in their ceremony, I closed my eyes and let the truth wash over me like ice water. She wasn't just taking my money. She was taking it while actively working to exclude me from her life. Every withdrawal happened during the same weeks. They were making decisions about Aunt Helen, about the rehearsal dinner, about treating me like a checkbook with legs instead of the father who'd raised her. I picked up the phone and called my bank. First National, this is Eddie Martinez. How can I help you? Hi, Eddie. This is Victor Palmer. I need to remove someone from my joint checking account. There was a pause, the sound of typing. All right, Mr. Palmer, let me pull up your account. Can I ask who you're removing? My daughter? Okay, sir. I'll need to send you some paperwork, or you can come in and we can handle it today if you'd like. It'll be there in an hour. I spent the rest of that morning making calls. The bank first, then my investment advisor, then my credit card companies. Every account where Linda had access, every automatic transfer ID set up to make her life easier. The joint savings account Wed opened when she turned 18. The emergency credit card E'd given her for college. The investment account where I'd been putting money aside for her future. I closed them all. With each call, each signature, on each form, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Control. For the first time since Carol died, I was making decisions about my own money, my own life, without wondering how it would affect Linda's plans or Nathan's business or their ability to keep up with their friends. When I finished, it was early afternoon. My hands were steady. The kitchen felt different somehow, like the air had changed. I made myself a sandwich, the first real meal I'd eaten in 24 hours minus, and sat at the table looking at the clean countertop where the bank statements had been. That afternoon, I drove to a coffee shop across town, one where I knew I wouldn't run into anyone from my old teaching days or anyone from our neighborhood. I needed to be somewhere that wasn't full of memories, somewhere neutral where I could think clearly about what came next. I ordered a black coffee I didn't really want and found a table by the window. For the first time in 3 years, I wasn't thinking about Linda's needs or Nathan's business or whether they had enough money to get by. I was thinking about myself, about the retirement I'd planned with Carol, about the life I still had left to live. I was halfway through the coffee when my phone rang. Linda's name appeared on the screen. I stared at it, watching it vibrate against the wooden table, and for a moment I considered not answering, but old habits die hard. "Hello, Dad." Her voice was tight, angry in a way I'd rarely heard before. "What did you do?" I took a sip of coffee and kept my voice calm. "What do you mean?" "The bank called me. They said you removed me from your accounts, all of them." Her voice was getting higher, more shrill. "Why would you do that?" She wasn't asking. She was demanding an answer, like I owed her an explanation for controlling my own money. "Because I'm not a bank, Linda. I'm your father." "I don't understand what that's supposed to mean." I set the coffee down carefully on the wooden table, watching the steam rise from the cup. Around us, other people were having normal conversations. A woman at the next table was planning a birthday party for her mother. Two men near the window were discussing a fishing trip. Regular people living regular lives without drama, without lawsuits, without children who saw them as walking ATMs. "It means I'm done being treated like an ATM with a heartbeat," I said quietly. "That's not fair," she snapped. "We needed that money. Nathan's business is just getting started, and we have expenses. The wedding costs, the honeymoon we've already booked. So do I. Linda, I have expenses too. You're retired. What expenses do you have?" I laughed, a sound so bitter, it surprised even me. "I'm 64 years old, not dead. I have a mortgage, utilities, medical bills, car insurance, prescription costs. I have a life beyond funding yours. You have plenty of money. You're just being petty because of the rehearsal dinner thing." Petty? The word hit me like a slap. The rehearsal dinner thing? You mean the part where you replaced me with Aunt Helen, where you decided I wasn't important enough to walk you down the aisle at the wedding I paid $58,000 for? There was silence on the other end. In the background, I could hear Nathan's voice, but I couldn't make out the words. "It's not about importance," Linda said finally. "It's about tradition. Nathan's family has certain expectations. I paid $58,000 for your wedding, Linda. $58,000. That's not tradition. That's 2 years of my pension. That's the money your mother and I saved for our retirement. Money I've been living on since she died." More silence. I could hear her breathing fast and shallow. "You know what?" I continued, my voice staying steady even though my hands were shaking. "I was happy to pay it. I wanted to pay it because you're my daughter and I love you. But I'm not paying for the privilege of being treated like I don't matter." "Dad, you're overreacting." "No," I said firmly. "I'm finally reacting appropriately." What's that supposed to mean? "It means the bank is closed, Linda. Permanently." I could hear her breathing getting faster. "You can't do this? Not now. The wedding is in 2 weeks. The wedding is paid for, every single penny. You'll have your perfect day with Aunt Helen and Roy Brooks and Nathan's traditional family. I made sure of that. We need money for the honeymoon," she said, and now her voice was softer, pleading, the tone she used to use when she was little and wanted something special. "We already booked everything. We were counting on you to help with that. You always said you'd help us get started in life. I've given you $97,000 in 3 years, Linda. You're more than started." 97? She sounded genuinely shocked. "That can't be right." "It's right. I have all the records." Every check, every transfer, every time you took money from our joint account for your emergencies, that somehow always happened right before I was supposed to write another check. Another long silence. When she spoke again, her voice was cold in a way I'd never heard before. "Dad," she said slowly, "if you cut us off now, you're going to regret this." Something in her tone made my blood run cold. It wasn't anger anymore. It wasn't even disappointment. It was something calculated, something that sounded like a threat. "Is that a threat, Linda?" "It's a fact," she said. "Nathan knows people. We have options. We'll handle this our way." The line went dead before I could respond. I sat in that coffee shop for another hour staring at my phone, waiting for her to call back, waiting for an apology, waiting for the daughter I'd raised to come back and replace this stranger who had just threatened me. But the phone stayed silent. 3 days passed. Quiet days. I worked in my garden, pulling weeds from the flower beds Carol had planted, trying to keep my hands busy and my mind occupied. I fixed the loose board on the back deck, the one that had been squeaking for months. I organized the garage, going through boxes of Christmas decorations and old teaching supplies I'd been meaning to sort since I retired. Normal things, peaceful things. Things that made me feel like I was taking care of my own life for the first time in years. Then on Thursday morning, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find a man in his 40s wearing an expensive suit and carrying a leather briefcase. He had the kind of polished smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the kind lawyers wear when they're about to ruin your day. "Victor Palmer?" "Yes." He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a manila envelope, thick with official-looking papers. "You've been served." My stomach dropped to somewhere around my knees. "Served with what?" "A lawsuit. Your daughter and her fiancé are suing you for breach of oral contract and promissory estoppel. They're seeking $25,000 in damages for financial commitments you allegedly promised but failed to deliver." He handed me the envelope and walked away like he was delivering pizza, not dropping a bomb that would change everything. I stood in my doorway holding the envelope like it was contaminated. A lawsuit. My own daughter was suing me. The man in the expensive suit was already walking back to his car, probably on his way to destroy someone else's morning. I went inside, closed the door, and locked it. My hands shook as I opened the envelope and spread the papers across my kitchen table. Legal language filled the pages, but the meaning was crystal clear. Linda and Nathan were claiming I'd made verbal promises to pay for their honeymoon and other expenses. They wanted $25,000 for breach of contract, plus emotional distress damages, emotional distress, from the daughter who had just excluded me from my own family. My phone rang 20 minutes later. Unknown number. "Mr. Palmer, this is Barbara Walsh, attorney at law. I'm calling because a colleague mentioned your situation. Do you have legal representation? How did you know about this? Small legal community," she said, "and cases like yours are more common than you'd think. Adult children suing parents for financial support. May I ask, have you been served yet? About an hour ago, and you're handling this alone?" I looked around my empty kitchen, at Carol's coffee mug still in the dish drainer, at the family photos that suddenly felt like evidence of a life that no longer existed. "Yes," I said. "Would you be willing to meet with me this afternoon? No charge for the consultation." 2 hours later, I sat across from Barbara Walsh in her downtown Portland office. She was maybe 50, with sharp eyes behind frameless glasses, and the kind of calm presence that made you believe things might actually work out. She read through the complaint carefully, making notes in precise handwriting. When she finished, she looked up at me. "Well," she said, "this is textbook elder financial abuse disguised as a contract dispute. Elder abuse, I'm 64. You're over 60. You're a widower. And you have adult children making financial demands under threat of legal action. That's elder abuse." She leaned forward. "Tell me everything. Start from the beginning." So I did. The wedding costs, the 3 years of financial support, the joint accounts, the rehearsal dinner exclusion, the replacement with Aunt Helen, all of it. She listened without interrupting, taking notes the entire time. When I finished, she sat back in her chair. "Mr. Palmer, do you have documentation of all this?" I nodded. "Everything. Bank statements, canceled checks, text messages, emails. I keep detailed records." For the first time since I'd walked into her office, Barbara Walsh smiled. "Good, because we're not just going to defend this lawsuit, we're going to destroy it." She pulled out a fresh legal pad. "Here's what's going to happen. They're claiming you made promises to give them money, but a promise to give a gift, even a specific amount, isn't legally enforceable unless it's in writing. And even if it were, you've already given them tens of thousands of dollars. Any reasonable person would say you've more than fulfilled any moral obligation. What about their emotional distress claim? Desperate people file suits like this when they see a parent as an easy target. They expect you to fold because you love your daughter and don't want the embarrassment of a public lawsuit. She made another note. Well, file a response denying all claims, then, well, counterclaim for harassment and abuse of process. And if they really want to push this, well, demand they repay every penny you've given them over the past 3 years. My head spun. Is that possible? If we can prove the money was given under duress or with expectation of reciprocity. Yes. Did they ever promise you anything in return? I thought about it. Linda used to say when Nathan's business took off, they'd take care of me. That E'd never have to worry about anything. Barbara's pen moved faster. Perfect. That's consideration that potentially makes it a loan, not a gift. Over the next 2 weeks, Barbara and I built our case, every bank statement going back 3 years. Every text message where Linda had asked for money, every email where ID said yes, every withdrawal from the joint account. We organized it all in a thick binder with tabs and highlights. Barbara called it our nuclear option. If they push this to court, she said, we show the judge exactly what kind of people they are. The day before the hearing, Linda called one last time. Dad, we can still work this out, she said. Just give us the honeymoon money and we'll drop everything. No, Linda, you're really going to let this go to court? You're going to air our family business in public. You're the one who filed the lawsuit, I reminded her. I'm just defending myself. This is going to destroy our relationship forever. I looked around my kitchen at the life I'd been rebuilding over the past month. I think you already took care of that. The hearing was held in a small civil courtroom with fluorescent lights and worn carpet. Linda and Nathan sat with their lawyer on one side. I sat with Barbara on the other. The judge was Joyce Freeman, a woman in her late 50s with reading glasses on a chain. Linda's lawyer presented their case first, talking about verbal promises and reasonable expectations. Then Linda testified, crying about how Idiot abandoned her in her time of need. When it was our turn, Barbara methodically destroyed their claims. She presented our binder of evidence showing the judge exactly how much money I'd given them over 3 years. She showed the timeline of my exclusion from the wedding events happening at the same time as their financial demands. Then I testified. I told Judge Freeman about paying for a wedding I wasn't allowed to fully participate in, about being replaced by relatives who barely knew my daughter, about discovering money disappearing from our joint accounts while I was writing wedding checks. Your Honor, I said, I would have given my daughter anything. I did give her everything I had. But the moment I stopped, she sued me. That's not love, that's exploitation. Judge Freeman took off her glasses and looked directly at Linda and Nathan. Let me make sure I understand, she said. You received $58,000 for a wedding, $15,000 for a condo, and multiple other payments totaling nearly $100,000 over 3 years. And now you're suing for an additional $25,000 because Mr. Palmer declined to fund your honeymoon? Your Honor, the promises were made. Alleged promises. The judge interrupted. Verbal statements of support are not legally binding contracts, especially when, as Mr. Palmer's counsel has demonstrated, he has already provided substantial financial assistance. She looked at Linda and Nathan with obvious disapproval. I see this pattern frequently in my courtroom. Adult children who have become accustomed to parental support and view it as an entitlement rather than a gift. When that support is withdrawn, they retaliate through the legal system. This court categorically denies the plaintiff's claim, Judge Freeman declared. Furthermore, I'm troubled by the timing and nature of this lawsuit. I'm ordering the plaintiffs to pay Mr. Palmer's legal fees, and I'm referring this matter to Adult Protective Services for review as potential elder financial abuse. Linda's face went white. Nathan started to stand, but his lawyer pulled him back down. 6 months later, I'm living in a smaller condo downtown with a view of the river. I sold the big house with all its memories and used the proceeds to secure my retirement. I joined a woodworking class at the community center. I volunteer at the library, reading to children on Tuesday afternoons. I travel when I want to, visit old friends, take care of myself. 3 months after the court hearing, I received a letter from Linda. She and Nathan had divorced. Had left her for someone else whose family still had money to offer. She wrote that she was starting to understand what had happened, that she was sorry. I read her letter twice, then put it in my desk drawer. Maybe someday I'll respond, maybe not. That evening, I stood on my balcony watching the sunset over the river. The sky burned orange and pink, colors Carol would have loved. I raised my coffee cup to the horizon, to second chances, to the peace that comes from finally learning to value yourself. My name is Victor Palmer. I'm 64 years old, and for the first time in years, my life belongs to me. Sometimes the greatest act of love is learning to say no, not just for your own dignity, but to give others the chance to discover their own strength and worth beyond what they can take from you. I learned that being a good father doesn't mean being an endless bank account. It means teaching your children that relationships are built on respect, not transactions, even if that lesson comes too late for some to understand.